My guest today is Dr. Muzammil Hussain, founder of AnnoQuest, an AI dataset platform redefining how the world builds, labels, and governs AI data. Muzammil is a repeat founder, works at the intersection of AI research and product, and has experience at Samsung Electronics, Xerox PARC, a master's from the University of Buffalo, New York, and a PhD in computer science from Oxford. Today, we are diving into his journey, the AI data landscape, and how AnnoQuest plans to build the first end-to-end dataset platform. Welcome.
Thank you.
Before we continue, a special shout out to Workwise and Downtown SF, kind enough to host us today. Please contact me for 5 free-day passes. You have so much experience, Muzamil, traveling around the world. Tell us more about your journey and how it all began.
Hello, everyone. So my journey is primarily starts with my training, which is I'm trained computer scientist. I have a PhD from Oxford University and a master's from SUNY Buffalo. I studied, machine learning, wireless sensor networks, Internet of Things, localization algorithms. That was my background and my PhD. And I've also worked a lot on recommendation systems prior to starting my company. What I realized when I was working is that the coming AI age that is there, it's going to be a very impactful and monumental for human race itself. It's
Right.
going to change the way we live, interact, and get our work done. One of the fundamental problems I saw was that the bottleneck for AI is the access to clean, good, trustworthy data sets. That led me to realize there is a good business to be built if you can give access to AI companies with good data. So that's the reason why I started Tika Data 8 years back. So Tika Data it's currently a 150 strong company. We are a well-recognized data annotation company in India. Most of our clients are in the US. We have an office in the US as well. We label data for AI companies. Labeling is putting human intelligence in a form that a machine can train. If you think about AI, it is mimicking human intelligence. The data labeling and data annotation part is where encoding that intelligence in a form you can then give a machine to learn. It could be a JSON file, an XML file. But the idea is that human intelligence, it could be basic. It could be like identify the objects in the image or video or characterize this particular audio clip. It could be as simple as that, but that is fundamental to how you train AI. Annotation itself need not be very complex, though we have a lot of domain specific. You
Right.
need doctors or you need legal experts, but most of the annotations are typically simple ones where you need to identify certain objects in the image. We take our intelligence for granted. When we have to train a machine, it is such a big effort. And so annotation is simple, of course, because we are encapsulating basic human intelligence. But that is very important for us to get it right, because as in anything, garbage in, garbage out. So if your data set is not good, you are going to have a poor AI model that's not going to solve the purpose. So coming back, we started Tika Data. We label data in a non-crowdsourced manner, and that means we don't have freelancers. We take into account information security constraints. When I was doing Tika Data, I realized that there are certain gaps in this particular industry and for the entire AI industry itself. That is the genesis for building AnnoQuest. AnnoQuest is more of an evolution than a pivot for me.
Since 2019, I've been here for 7 years now.
Yes.
Since November 2022, since OpenAI or ChatGPT, how many people know it, came or launched, it's just an incredible world that we are living in. You know it too. Every event that you go today, probably 90% of those founders are building in AI because that's the amount of opportunity and potential. I could see, I came here before the AI boom. And even the world now, we're noticing everyone knows ChatGPT. And I think ChatGPT has 800 million users per week, which is just incredible.
Almost 20% of the humanity is using.
And now Nvidia is worth probably 4.5 or $5 trillion. which is just amazing. Those top seven tech companies are worth what? Maybe they control what, 10, 15 trillion just net value. And it's incredible how the pace of AI itself is growing. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. There was a stat that I saw. AI teams spend 70 to 80% of their time not training models, but cleaning, labeling, and fixing data.
A lot of people don't know. I mean, this is something that I also realize as an opportunity, because if something is really valuable but undervalued, you see a business opportunity. It's like the hidden gem kind of thing. That is what I realized 8 years back, that if you have to build an AI model or you have to build an AI application, you have three fundamental components to it. You have the data, the algorithm slash data scientist, and the hardware slash compute slash GPU, right? You have these three components to build any AI application. And I realized that data is predominantly far more critical to having a viable AI application than the other. If you don't have a good data set, then all the compute power of NVIDIA and all the best algorithms from all over the top universities of the world are not going to get you the desired result. The data is more important than anything else. I remember we did a project for Mercedes a few years back where we did around 35 million images labeled, but those are exceptions. Typically, you get results with a few tens of thousands of images for computer vision. For NLP, again, it's a different criteria.
I didn't know all this, so I'm learning too. And yeah, you created Tika Data before, and you explained how that experience led to this new platform. What personal experiences or challenges made you want to solve this problem? I feel that you have so much experience, especially being in the forefront of data research, AI research. You would know better.
So Tika Data is an annotation services company. We label data for our clients. Even if the client provides us data, typically they do, we did see a number of challenges over and over again that actually led me to think of something bigger years down the line. One is the fact that data cleaning and structuring is important before doing the annotation. You need to structure and categorize data, cluster data, and that is important. The other thing is that provenance and legality of the data itself is a concern for a number of people, especially when you take up public data. So a lot of clients have their own data, which is not an issue. It is still important for them to understand from where internal sources they have actually got the data. It could be a large company, a particular unit did the data collection and gave it to the data science unit. A lot of companies and other clients come to us and ask, is there a single trusted source for getting data? A lot of companies are not keen on building a data set from scratch because it's expensive, right? So they want, especially the startups, they don't have the resources or the time to do the data collection for a particular use case and then build it. These are problems we've seen again and again. The genesis of AnnoQuest is to remove these bottlenecks and give AI teams a unified platform to solve, the end-to-end kind of thing for AI data.
And I really don't see it. I couldn't see it before until you mentioned all this, especially about the type of data that those companies are using. Is it legal data that they're having, or where is the source of the data that they're using? Those factors are really some of the things that I would never even think about.
You will think about it only when you hear it in the news, when you have a legal case going. Typically, our clients own their data, and when you collect your data, you own it in a way, right? When you scrape data off the internet, it depends on the license enforced on that particular data. The data could be OSS or the various licensing that are there. It is possible that the owner of the data is fine with you using it for commercial applications. Typically, public data is used for non-profit educational purposes. That's why you see that a lot of universities, they build data sets from scraping the internet. No one has put any lawsuit against the university because they just use the data to prove a point or to advance science or whatever. The problem comes when you use public data, which is potentially copyrighted, and the owner of the data may not agree with you using that data to make money. Whenever money comes into the picture, it could be again. It again depends on whether they're okay with it or not okay with it. If they're not okay with it, they might send you a cease or desist notice and whatever. They'll take it forward in the courts. So the problem with companies that build models with public data is that suppose you have a lawsuit coming in and that say 5% of your entire data set is copyrighted and the owners don't want you to use the data for commercial activity. How are you going to fix that problem in your current AI model? You would have to redo the entire AI model, which is typically, the current, if you go by what's there in the news media reports, these companies spend millions of dollars. And the problem is that if you have copyrighted data in your data set that you have scraped off the internet and use it to build your models, and then tomorrow the owner of the data comes and puts a legal suit on you, you're in a soup because you have to stop your current stuff because the model the court may put one restraining order on usage of that model, and you have to redo your stuff. And if it's super expensive, it might even sink the company because it's possible that you stop your operations immediately or you may not have alternative immediately. So it's a very tricky thing that because it's going to have a very adverse effect on your business.
This is a fascinating subject. I didn't think about this before, especially the type of data that people use or the company. This is just a niche industry too. So, how about the competition? You feel that you're competing against some major players?
So the competition, AnnoSmart wants to be the data platform for next generation AI infrastructure. It has three components: a studio platform, which focuses on assisted data labeling with provenance. And typically, companies with proprietary data use it. Then you have a source where you collect, scrape, clean, filter, and label data, build data sets. And then you have Exchange, which is basically a marketplace of legally curated, verified data sets. So we have three offerings over there. It's a platform that has everything in it. Our competitors, for example, Labelbox, it has an AI assisted labeling platform. Bright Data and Oxy Labs have a platform that can scrape data off the internet. It doesn't process the data after that. But we're talking about AI data sets. You're not talking about data itself.
Right.
What AnnoSmart and Data do is that they process the data to a form where it can be consumed by an AI algorithm, typically a deep learning, computer vision, or an NLP algorithm to build an AI model.
Right.
So we're not talking of data marketplaces as such where you have any type of data out there. We are talking of very specifically an AI data set that is going to be used to build a deep learning model. And then again, marketplaces, they sell data. They don't sell AI data sets.
Right.
You have things like Google Dataset Search and Kaggle, and you have Hugging Face. They have a lot of open source models, okay, but these are open source models. So I'm not sure if you can use these data sets to build commercial applications. What AnnoQuest offers is a marketplace where you can license data sets and build commercial applications out of it.
This is super interesting. It's a platform which provides a studio where you can source and exchange, and everything is in one place. So, who would be your ideal customer?
It could be an early stage startup that would need fast access to ready to use data sets. It could be enterprise AI teams that need scalable, auditable, trustworthy data sets, or it could be academic and research labs that need niche data sets in a proven and transparent manner. Any AI team that requires data sets for building their AI applications need us.
Interesting. The AI data services industry is currently worth $6 billion, but it's expected to double within the next 3 years. Seeing all the evolution in the AI industry in regard to edge, cloud, and applied AI, I feel that definitely this could happen.
Personally, I believe that we are not yet near even half the kind of applications we can apply AI to. Every new application of AI would require a ground truth done by humans. AI is mimicking human intelligence. Human intelligence is the baseline. every application of AI would require a golden data set or ground truth that humans actually sit manually or AI assisted. I believe AI is going to be a fundamental technology. It's going to be a kind of a invisible infrastructure, electricity and internet and those kind of things.
I've worked with a few VCs. They are focused on enlightened AI now. Those companies that can amplify, not focus on artificial intelligence as such, but also complementing it with human intelligence, amplified AI. And it's just in line with whatever you're saying. It's just
It is
incredible.
in our times we are seeing almost the profound kind of tectonic shifts in high value industries like software development. You have
Yeah.
AI that's come in, it's learned through the entire repository of code that is out there. It's learned how to code better humans. That is an AI
Yeah.
agent. You will see that again and again. That's going to be, it's going to replace a lot of the smaller things we're doing and allow us to focus more on the higher value things. That I don't see panic or negativity attached to it. There was a time where horse carriages were
Yeah.
the norm,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
motor cars came and removed it. So if someone is going to argue that no, this is horse carriages are the way to do, and motor cars are actually taking away the jobs of the people in the industry, it is ridiculous now.
And I feel that over time, humans adapt to. They have to adapt at some point. So let's shift gears a bit and talk more about your journey,
Yes.
and especially you're in Silicon Valley, and just more about your Silicon Valley experience personally. You're building AnnoQuest between India and Silicon Valley. Why choose this ecosystem for building, especially from people who are not from here? Why would you do that?
Silicon Valley gives you access to the best AI teams in the world, right? You have the best capital and talent networks over here. This is the place to be, especially if you're building something in the AI or deep tech domains. The Bay Area is the largest collection of the smartest people in the world.
I've seen it firsthand. So the network, the capital for sure, but the network, the guidance, the mentorship. But
The
I feel,
ideas,
but the most important thing would also be the community where you're growing with like-minded people, growing at a similar pace, competing with each other, learning from each other, sharing with each other. It's just incredible. This environment really helps you to grow. So what kind of conversations are you having with people here? Could be founders, investors.
conversations here revolve around trust, redundancy, and scale. The underlying thing among a lot of people here that in terms of AnnoQuest, how it's helped us is that it helped us figure out two things. About one is about the pricing and about the product, right? So what we realized through our conversations is that people are ready to pay a premium to access good quality, trustworthy data sets. Having the right data sets at the right time, right in the beginning, when you take into account, the legality of your data sets, the quality of your data sets, and then you build a model and you deploy it, it can actually make or break your company. Instead of taking careless decisions and a dodgy data set without checking the provenance, it might put you in a soup later on when you have some legal repercussions on the data that you use. That is one thing. The other thing is that companies, annotation and preparation care about two things. One is they believe that AI assisted data labeling is the way forward. And the other thing is that they need a provenance for those data sets so that they can verify it. So these are some of the features that we realize are more high impact than a lot of other features. Being in the valley and speaking to people, it let me recognize which are the more high impact ones and which are not so much.
You have built companies. You have so much experience, Muzammil. For people who are now building or now figuring out, they are now getting an idea about how to proceed with their company. What would be the hardest startup lesson that you learned during all these years?
So this might sound a bit cliche, but it is the same thing again. Building a startup is not very different now than it was 5 years back, 10 years back, or 50 years back. The key is the execution.
Right.
See, ideas are a dime a dozen kind of thing, right? But if you have a great idea and you don't execute it, it's of no use. You should execute it, get it to market, and get revenue and grow the business. So over here, there is something that is hidden, and that is consistency and resilience. You're going to fail again and again. You will succeed only when you have the heart and courage to stand up every time you fall and continue. In business, it's funny, but it's true. It's always the last business that is standing.
Yeah.
That is, you might have economic downturn. You might have a recession in the US. You might have a recession globally. If you build a business that is resilient, exposed to less risk, and you know how to run your business even in difficult times, you're the one who's going to succeed in the end. Execution is everything. Assumptions are expensive, so you would want to ensure that you try out everything. And especially in this particular industry, what we have seen is that in AI data industry, tiny mistakes in the AI data pipelines can lead to issues with delays and even with unusable data sets. That is the lesson that I learned. It's so important to get it right first. When my team starts the project, we ensure that we understand the specification very well. We do pilots, ensure that they're happy with the work, then we scale up to whatever level they want. Particularly important if you talk about from a AI data labeling industry perspective. Yeah.
And I think the beauty of Silicon Valley is you're allowed to fail and take
Yes.
risk. That's how you learn, do it. It's a learning experience. If you don't take it as a failure, but as a learning experience, you get better. The next time, that's how most of these companies grew by failing repeatedly and learning at the same time and surviving. Yeah.
Our key thing about running and building a company is to know when to grow and when to survive.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when to be conservative and when to be ambitious and move forward. It's important in the end. You can do all the cool tech in the world, but if you have to close down your company, it is okay. You might get a buyout or you might get a thing exit, but it's important to survive and continue. That's what business requires.
You put it so well. Key is execution. So let's talk about traction, fundraising, and launch. Tika Data provides proven annotation services and operational support in India. We have clients such as Mercedes-Benz, Microsoft, Nvidia, Zoom, other clients. And AnnoQuest on the other side is in active development.
Yes.
So can you tell us more what's coming next?
So Tika Data is growth stage company. So it's growing. It's a profitable company, and we are preparing to scale as the work increases and our business increases. Quest is focusing on releasing the three components of its platform: the studio, the source, and the exchange, and focusing on early adopters, refining workflows, and proving the value of scale plus quality plus provenance. So that's the focus of Quest. We're trying to bring out work with the early adopters and succeed in that.
And having worked especially for 8 years in the industry, you know some of the pain points. And I really feel that when I was analyzing the pitch deck that you sent me, it really makes sense to have a platform for carrying out all these tasks. You have 150 annotation team back home. You have so many clients. And it's great what you're doing.
Thank you.
Let's talk about data security now. AI regulation is accelerating. We have the EU AI Act, the US AI Safety Executive Order, and you handle a lot of client data yourself. How are you thinking about data security, compliance, and legal data set licensing?
We have certain processes in place to ensure that client data is securely handled, and it's handled and scrubbed whenever we finish a project. In terms of compliance, we ensure there's a provenance trail for every data set out there. In terms of data security, ensure that there's encryption, access control, and we have a kind of a privacy by design kind of thing.
Right.
Licensing, of course, we ensure that the data set only consists of usable data. Any data we find that's not usable, that we don't have the copyright for it, we remove it and we build it up. We build the data set with the domain. So we follow simple procedures for that.
Yeah, I have another fact. So with the new global regulations, 60% of enterprises say they cannot trace the provenance of their data set.
Yes, that is exactly the problem we are trying to solve. And we believe that in the future, once AI matures, you'll have more issues that will come to the surface. AI is still not in its maturity state. It's still a lot of experimentation, and the world is figuring out where and how to apply AI. In the future, you will have A lot of demand for the legality of the data on which the AI models have been trained,
Sure.
provenance and the trustworthiness of data sets is going to be a very critical thing.
You're currently preparing for a pre-seed seed round. What will be your pitch or your ask? And when you're looking, what are you looking for a right investor?
Yeah. So pitching, we are actually solving one of the most important or the hardest problem in AI, which is the hardest bottleneck. That is trustworthy provenance verified data sets. What AnnoQuest is giving is a full pipeline of sourcing, cleaning, labeling, and exchange of data sets. So this is what the offering of AnnoQuest is. In terms of investors, we are looking for strategic investors who understand AI and data ops, can open doors and help scale globally.
What would be the fundraising ask?
Looking for $1 million.
How do you see Quest in the next 3 to 5 years, I would say?
So we want to see AnnoQuest as being the backbone of the AI data infrastructure. We want that every AI team can source, clean, label, and license data reliably. Every team, whether the enterprise, startups, or research labs, we want to see a thriving exchange. The studio is much better in doing AI assisted labeling. We want to see global adoption across various industries, whether from industrial robotics, autonomous driving, or manufacturing, the entire gamut of things. That is the vision for AnnoQuest in the next 3 to 5 years.
Amazing. I love it. You're also looking for talent.
Yes.
Co-founders, tech leads, advisors in AI and ML, product. So tell us more.
So we're looking for co-founders and leads who can take ownership of various components that we're building. Looking for AI and ML advisors who can help us with cutting edge guidance. And of course, we are building complex systems, so we need product leads to help us build the product. We need people who are excited about AI data and also fact that we can make an impact on a global scale.
Yeah. And now $1 million will also help in getting the right talent on board, the right engineers, tech leads, and building the platform itself. I just wanted to get your perspective about AI generally. Today, AI is present in every industry. Name it, and AI is there. Marketing, operations, finance, sales, business development, banking. How do you see the future of AI?
I believe that AI is going to be a fundamental technology or a kind of a infrastructure that is core infrastructure like electricity, internet. It's going to be invisible. What Mark Weisner had mentioned in the ubiquitous computing paper. Truly believe that, but we should also understand that AI is nothing but you're mimicking human intelligence to automate certain things. So that this vision of AI in our day-to-day lives is kind of implemented.
So, to follow up on that, do you see any sectors or industries growing massively?
Yes, I think wherever you can apply some amount of automation, you will see that being applied. Of course, autonomous cars, that's where a lot of the AI, computer vision based things and robotics, huge robotics. I'm just waiting to see personal companion robots moving around like the personal assistant in Jetsons series. So you can see that everywhere, whether it is in manufacturing, whether it is in creative stuff. AI in creative arts and the creative space is incredible. You can build websites, code, software, every single thing. Music, avatars who are becoming actors in movies. There's controversy in that, but it's incredible. Anywhere and everywhere where human intelligence is needed and there is a chance of automation, you're going to see AI put over there. What we are seeing in San Francisco right now, I'm sure we're going to see in rest of the world, the next coming decades or something. It is just the future. There's no doubt in that. That will be the next shift.
And finance too. I see a lot of application of AI in finance, especially handling those huge amounts of data, banking, stock research, cryptocurrency, blockchain, and all that. Really, I see a lot of potential. I have no coding background, but now there are apps that you can literally just draw me this website in seconds. It's crazy.
Incredible.
Thank you. I think we are at the most exciting part of this podcast, the rapid fire round. I'll ask you 5 questions, and if you can answer in 3 to 5 words, that'll be amazing. Are you up for that?
Yes.
All right, let's do it. AnnoQuest in one word.
Trustworthy.
Do you think AI will actually replace jobs or just shift them?
I think it'll shift.
One startup that you really admire.
I would say at this age in time it is OpenAI, because not only the models, but also the bold vision that they could actually take the dump of the entire internet and build a LLM out of it. It's so useful. It's very powerful. Of course, there are a lot of other worthy competitors, but it's OpenAI that started it,
And maybe people don't know that, but it started as a non-profit. Silicon Valley in one word.
accelerator.
I love it. What's one thing you hope AnnoQuest changes in the world?
Make data trustworthy and remove bottlenecks in AI.
One final question. If there was one advice or one key takeaway for our global audience, what would it be?
I would say something related to AnnoQuest. Data is the real oil of AI, and provenance is that refining process. That's how important the problem AnnoQuest is solving. It is you have data sets, you have to make it high quality, and refining is necessary. No one uses crude oil. The process of refining you can relate it to the process of data provenance. You need to have trustworthy data sets to go ahead with it. If you remove trust, you're dealing with risky data sets. Of course, you can say that without provenance, you still get high quality data sets, right? In terms of content, but as a business, you would not touch anything that has legal repercussions. So I think trustworthy data sets that are provenance first kind of approach is the way forward for businesses when they use AI.
I really learned a lot. I didn't know so much about especially the types of data that companies use, the whole data set that we discussed today. From an outside perspective, I never thought that, yeah, data actually is the foundation of AI. Whatever you're putting inside the model, you have to have the right data and the quality of the data should be good. Thank you so much for sharing your journey today. It's always inspiring to see founders grow and succeed. For listeners who want to follow AnnoQuest, where can they find you?
You can reach me on LinkedIn, Muzammil, or check out our website, www.annoquest.com. You can find more information about what we're building right now. It's still pre-product, so you'll see more information coming as it takes a month.
That's it for today's episode of Venture Bridge Hub. If you enjoyed this conversation and think it was helpful, make sure to follow, like, and comment, and win a free database of 10,000 active investors. Until next time, keep building and keep bridging. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.